Imagine a beam of light piercing absolute darkness, the first in 2,800 years, revealing bronze vessels suspended in eerie stillness, their surfaces etched with symbols from a forgotten empire. The air hangs heavy, cool, and untouched, carrying whispers of rituals long silenced. This is no ordinary tomb. It's a sealed chamber in the heart of ancient Gordion, Turkey, cracked open in June 2025, where archaeologists stepped into a world frozen in time. What they pulled from that void, dozens of cauldrons, jugs, and incense burners, still nailed to walls of unrotted wood, hasn't just stunned the dig team. It's left historians worldwide grappling with a silence born of awe and uncertainty. These aren't relics of myth. They're tangible proof that the Phrygians, builders of one of Anatolia's greatest kingdoms, engineered preservation so flawless, it challenges our grasp of ancient ingenuity. And this is only the beginning. Across Turkey's rugged landscapes, from the labyrinthine depths beneath Midyat to the vast subterranean networks of Cappadocia, sealed chambers are yielding secrets that rewrite the timeline of human achievement. As we descend into these stories, prepare to question everything you thought you knew about who we were and who we might yet discover ourselves to have been. The moment of breakthrough at Gordion unfolded like a scene from a forgotten epic. Picture the excavation team, led by Professor C. Brian Rose of the University of Pennsylvania, their faces streaked with dust under the relentless Anatolian sun. It's mid-June 2025, and months of meticulous work, enabled by Turkey's expanded year-round digging program, launched in 2024, have brought them to the final barrier, a 21-foot thick earthen tumulus T26, shielding what magnetic perspection hinted at as a wooden burial chamber. With picks and brushes, they breach the seal, and a rush of preserved air escapes, carrying faint scents of pine and earth. Inside, the chamber measures a modest 10 by 9 feet, its juniper and pine beams collapsed but intact. Defying millennia of seismic tremors along the North Anatolian fault, no water seepage, no vermin tracks, just purity. Hanging from iron nails driven into the walls are 88 metal artifacts, the largest cache since the legendary Midas Mound unearthed in 1957. Large bronze cauldrons dominate, their exteriors bearing faint impressions of linen wrappings, traces of elite textiles that speak to Gordion's thriving weaving industry. Smaller jugs and bowls, some etched with motifs unlike any known Phrygian iconography, suggest ceremonial use in funeral feasts. Radiocarbon dating pins the burial to around 750 BCE, a cremation rite shockingly early for the site, over a century before such practices appear elsewhere. In Gordian, Professor Rose, standing amid the finds, later recounted the chill that ran through the team. "It's as if the mourners stepped out yesterday," he said in a press briefing, his voice steady but laced with the weight of implication. This tomb, potentially linked to the dynasty of King Midas himself, whose name evokes the golden touch of legend, but whose real power lay in commanding trade routes across Anatolia, holds more than objects. It holds a narrative of deliberate safeguarding. The Phrygians, Indo-European migrants who arrived around 1200 BCE amid the Bronze Age collapse, weren't mere survivors of chaos. They mastered geology's gifts, sealing chambers with compacted earth that repelled moisture, leveraging the stable microclimates of tumuli to halt decay. Preliminary conservation at the Gordion Museum, where 47 artifacts now gleam under controlled light, reveals patinas so pristine that metallurgists can trace alloy compositions, high-tin bronzes indicating access to distant Caspian sources. Yet as Turkey's Minister of Culture and Tourism, Mehmet Nuri Ersoy, announced the discovery on June 4, 2025, the excitement tempered into caution. "This may belong to Gordios or Midas's kin," he noted, "but its full story demands time." Historians poring over scans detect symbols hinting at pre-Phrygian influences, perhaps Luwian from Hittite predecessors, the silence from academia. Not suppression, but the hum of reevaluation. One tomb alone pushes back evidence of elite cremation rituals, forcing textbooks to bend. But Gordion's revelations are a mere prelude to the subterranean symphony unfolding elsewhere in Turkey. Shift your gaze southeast to the dusty streets of Midyat in Mardin province, where beneath 17th century stone houses lies Madiat, the city of caves, as ancient Assyrian inscriptions dubbed it around the 9th century BCE. Discovered serendipitously in 2020 during conservation of historic facades. What began as a single limestone cave has ballooned into the world's largest known underground complex, spanning an estimated 90 hectares, nearly 900,000 square meters, or the footprint of 126 football fields. By November 2025, excavations coordinated by the Mardin Museum under director Gani Tarkan have cleared 50 rooms and mapped over 120 meters of tunnels, yet ground-penetrating radar suggests they've unearthed just 5% of the labyrinth. These aren't haphazard hollows. They're engineered marvels, multi-level passages with massive rolling stone doors, weighing tons, that could seal entire sections from invaders. Ventilation shafts angled to capture surface breezes, still functional today. Drainage channels hewn with precision to shunt floodwaters. Dating via optically stimulated luminescence places initial carving to the 9th century BCE, contemporaneous with Neo-Assyrian expansions, but artifacts, pottery shards, iron tools from the 2nd and 3rd century CE evoke Roman and early Christian use. Envision the lead excavator, flashlight in hand, navigating a corridor where tool marks on the tough walls reveal copper chisel strokes, each strike a testament to labor-intensive craft. In one chamber, a silo cluster holds carbonized grains. Emmer wheat, per 2024 archaeobotanical analysis, preserved by the cave's steady 13 degrees Celsius humidity. Another yields altars with cross motifs, hinting at Syriac Christian refugees fleeing Persian persecutions in the 7th century. CE Midyat's mayor, Vasi Shahin, overseeing phased openings slated for early 2026, describes the site's emotional pull. It's not just stone, it's layers of survival, etched by hands that mirrored our own fears. The preservation borders on miraculous, thanks to the region's tuff, a compressed volcanic ash from ancient eruptions of Mount Nemrut, 50 kilometers away. This porous rock absorbs seismic shocks, its low permeability barring oxygen that fuels rot. Recent geological surveys, published in the Journal of Quaternary Science in October 2025, confirm ash layers from the 3,500-year-old Thera eruption, blanketing Midyat, sealing early tunnels in a sterile cocoon. No wonder organics endure. Fabric fragments, wooden pegs, even faint charcoal sketches on walls, now scanned for AI analysis. That brings us to the inscriptions, the faint etchings that have archaeologists deploying cutting-edge tools in a race against erosion. At Gordian, preliminary photos of vessel motifs captured under raking light on April 25, 2025, revealed fragmented Phrygian script, decoded by Mark Munn of Penn as a dedication to Matar, the mother goddess. Whoever breaks this will die. Echoing a Hittite seal unearthed in Kurikale in July 2024. But it's in Midyat where the real linguistic frontier lies. Faint carvings on chamber walls, barely visible to the naked eye, prompted deployment of DeepScribe, the University of Chicago's AI system honed on 6,000 cuneiform images from Persepolis trained to recognize patterns with 80% accuracy, even on degraded surfaces. DeepScribe, in a September 2025 pilot, transcribed Aramaic phrases predating known Syriac variants, invocations for eternal refuge beneath the earth. Suzanne Paulus, DeepScribe's Assyriology lead, calls it a bridge across millennia, noting how the AI cross-references with 2024's Ithaca model from DeepMind, which restores Greek inscriptions with 62% fidelity. These texts aren't scratches. They're systematic, suggesting literacy pushed back to the late Bronze Age, perhaps pre-Hittite. Imagine the emotional weight, a script emerging from shadow, voicing pleas from ancestors who carved safety from stone amid invasions. Yet as these words surface, they raise haunting questions. Why seal such knowledge away? And for whom? The answer may lie in Turkey's crossroads, geography where Anatolia funnels humanity's Great Migration's DNA studies, accelerating since 2022's Southern Arc project, paint a vivid picture. A 2025 cell paper on 230 Southern Caucasus genomes reveals Bronze Age influxes from Anatolia. Farmers carrying Neolithic genes from 8,300 BCE Çatalhöyük admixed with Levantine pulses around 7,000 BCE. But central Anatolia's story is local resilience. A nature communications analysis of a 15,000-year-old hunter-gatherer from Pınarbaşı shows 90% continuity into pottery Neolithic farmers, with minimal Fertile Crescent migration. It's not waves crashing in, explains archaeogeneticist Gülşah M. Kılınç, but ripples of exchange. Preliminary extractions from Gordion's cremains, reported at the 2025 European Association of Archaeologists Conference, yield mtDNA haplotypes linking to Yamnaya steppe herders, 5 to 10% admixture by 750 BCE, hinting at elite alliances that fused Indo-European tongues with Anatolian substrates. In Midyat, a 2024 PNAS study of ppNb mobility via strontium isotopes traces individuals from the upper Euphrates to Levantine sites, their enamel signatures revealing seasonal treks for obsidian trade. These weren't invasions. They were networks, marriages, markets, migrations weaving a genetic tapestry where Anatolian farmers seed 75% of modern European ancestry, per 2023 science findings. This genetic mosaic evokes a profound emotional stir. We're not descendants of conquerors alone, but collaborators across chasms of time. Yet the sealed chambers whisper of deliberate isolation. Consider Derinkuyu, 300 kilometers east in Cappadocia, rediscovered in 1963 but yielding fresh insights in 2025 via drone LiDAR. This 18-level behemoth, plunging 85 meters into tuff, sheltered 20,000 during Byzantine Arab Wars, 780 to 1180 CE. Its 15,000 ventilation shafts, still circulating air, proof of aerodynamic mastery. Recent digs uncovered a chapel with 9th century frescoes, pigments unfaded thanks to ash-sealed anoxia. But why build such fortresses? Cappadocia's geology holds clues. The North Anatolian Fault, birthplace of 2023's magnitude 7.8 quake, spawns micro-vibrations that stabilize deep rock, while volcanic tuff, deposited 30 million years ago from Earth's eruptions, creates impermeable vaults. A 2025 Quaternary International paper maps 3 Holocene impact craters nearby, their ejecta layers in cave sediments suggesting ancient skies rained fire, inspiring Hittite tales of storm gods. Sealed doors rolled shut from within weren't just defenses, they were vaults for survival, preserving not only lives but lineages. The emotional core of these discoveries hits hardest in their human echoes. At Gordion, the cremated remains, analyzed via paleoproteomics in a Penn lab, belonged to a male, 40 to 50 years old, his bones bearing muscle markers of a rider, perhaps a kingpin in Phrygia's iron trade. Wrapped in purple linens, dye sourced from Phoenician murex, per isotopic traces, he was sent off with vessels worn from banquet use, evoking feasts where alliances were forged over spiced wine. In Midyat's altars, carbon dated to 200 CE, pollen residues point to incense of imported myrrh. Paths of faith trodden by Syriac monks evading iconoclastic edicts. These weren't faceless ancients. They were parents, warriors, scribes, sealing away heirlooms against the unknown. A surprising reveal emerges from 2025's Inkaya Cave digs in Sanakal. 86,000-year-old tools, handled for 24,000 years, bridge Paleolithic continuity to Neolithic innovations. Their users' DNA, preliminary aDNA from a 64,000-year-old workshop, showing basal Eurasian ancestry undiluted by later waves. It's a gut punch. Humanity's thread in Anatolia endures, unbroken. Deeper still, mythology and geology entwine in chilling harmony. Hittite epics, etched on Boğazköy tablets, describe descents through sealed stone gates to underworld realms, mirroring Derinkuyu's choke points and Midyat's rolling blocks. Greek lore pins Hades' entrance in Anatolian caves, while biblical Nephilim tales cluster here, per geospatial analysis in a 2024 Biblical Archaeology Review. but science grounds the spectral. Thera's ash confirmed in Tepechic Mound's 3,500-year-old layer via Vienna Tech's spectrometry records tsunamis that reshaped coasts, their debris, pumice, marine microfossils, Ingordian's lower strata earthquakes, not gods, hurled fire from the sky, yet survivors mythologized survival, carving warnings into rock. A 2025 GeoExpro study of Cappadocia's faults reveals how tremors ventilated deep shafts, inadvertently aiding preservation. These chambers, born of catastrophe, became cradles of culture, refuges where Phrygian bards composed, Christians chanted psalms, all preserved for our flashlight's gaze. The climax builds in the scale of what's untapped. Satellite thermal imaging, per a November 2025 remote sensing journal, detects 40-plus voids rivaling Derinkuyu across Anatolia, some 100-plus meters deep, their heat signatures hinting at air-trapped organics. Bloundos' 2024 Roman tombs, unsealed with marble doors intact, yielded 300-plus vessels. Nevşehir's 2023 megacity, now fully mapped, spans 113 meters, with Byzantine chapels' economic ripple surge. Midyat's tourism, 2 million visitors in 2024, projects 4 million by 2026, funding AI like DeepScribe's upgrades. Yet the human cost lingers, excavators risking cave-ins, ethicists debating DNA repatriation. These aren't treasures for museums alone. They're mirrors reflecting underestimated genius. Ancestors who harnessed faults for fortresses, ash for archives, migrations for mastery. As the dust settles on these openings, a reflective calm descends. Turkey's sealed worlds remind us, history isn't linear triumph, but resilient layering, local roots fed by distant streams, sealed against oblivion yet bursting forth now, in our era of tools to hear them. We've pulled engineering that rivals today's, scripts that sing forgotten tongues, genes that trace our shared pulse, the historian's silence. It's the pause before paradigm shift, the breath before we admit. Our forebears were not primitives, but pioneers whose shadows we still cast. What if the next chamber holds a text bridging Hittite to Homer, or DNA unveiling a lost Anatolian kin? The doors creak wider. If this stirs your sense of wonder, dive deeper. Subscribe for the breakthroughs ahead. Share your thoughts on what secret you'd seek below. And let's unearth the past together, one revelation at a time. Information updated.